My name is Ben Braun, and I play Sergeant Froggy LeSueur.
I'm Chris O'Reilly, and I am playing Charlie Baker.
I'm Katie Callahan, and I play Betty.
I'm Tyler Frost. My character is Reverend David Marshall Lee.
Hi, I am Lola Stanton, and I am playing Catherine.
Okay, I am Armando Ronconi, and I play Owen Musser.
My name is Jake Daggett, and I am playing Ellard Sims.
Well, here's as brief as I can be. We're in a small mountain cabin south of Atlanta in southern rural Georgia, and it's owned by Betty Meeks. And arriving is Froggy LeSueur and his friend Charlie Baker, and Charlie's had some trauma in his life, and so Froggy has brought him hoping this is going to be good for him, but abandons Charlie with the notion that he'll just tell everyone that Charlie's a foreigner who doesn't understand English, so no one will speak to him and everyone will leave him alone. And what transpires is the effect that Charlie, the foreigner, has on everyone that's currently at the Meeks Lodge, and how Charlie changes their lives, and how also we see the effect that they have on Charlie's life. And there's all sorts of shenanigans that go along with a little comic subplot with some Klan members. I know it's comedy in the Klan, but just work with me on that one if you would. We also get to meet a couple of characters, and as Charlie is playing the role of the foreigner, we also get another little plot with another character of David and Charlie, and kind of a competition to see who will expose the other one first. It all drives us to a comedic-filled conclusion of the play, as pretty much everyone it becomes exposed, and the masks are all removed, and we see who people truly are. And it's just a wonderful play, very funny with lots of heart, and it's just wonderful to see how Foreigner can change people's lives. It's always wonderful because as a director, you hear the show and you're reading the parts for yourself, and whether you've cast the actors or not, the first read through when you get to see the characters, and like there's the body that's playing the character and there's their voice reading the lines, that's really it sounds corny, but it really is kind of magical the first time that because as I'm reading it, I'm thinking things in my mind, but then when I actually see the actors start to develop their characters, and the lines are now coming out of their mouth and not mine, it makes me much happier. So yeah, it's really quite wonderful.
Charlie, is this all right? Poco dum phono storos?
Ben, yeah. Ben is... he's Ben, really so full of energy all the time. Ben's really been awesome with feeding me energy, because some of the beginning scenes, again, not to give away too much, but some of the beginning scenes are, I'm supposed to have really no energy, and I'm really shy, introverted, and Ben has been awesome with actually keeping me kind of focused on the fact that we're in a theater and that I kind of have to project to everybody. So like I said, Ben's been awesome. He's been so great throughout the entire thing. He's really funny. He's really good.
Ben is great. Ben's really funny. He and I are both in the Greek system, and so we find camaraderie in that because they don't normally mix with the Greek system in theater, and I think that we have a little camaraderie with that.
He's just a fun, upbeat. He's very encouraging. So, and he brings such amazing that flair to Froggy. He's like that charming, that Betty and Froggy thing. He's so lovable by her, and he really plays that.
What drew me to the audition was a simple casting call of, hey guys, this is what will be the first production of the year, and read the play, loved it immediately, and decided to go for it. The research I do for this role is, since Froggy is a very strong military man, I just watched a bunch of straight foreign films involving the British military, and of course played some Modern Warfare and Call of Duty, because there are a few British guys. And so right after that, since Froggy talks in a Cockney British accent. Definitely when we were given CDs to practice with it, just went it over and over again and looked through the script, and that's how I got through it. Favorite part of the whole process? Definitely finally able to get down the Cockney accent was really fun, and not able to have to worry of the Australian slipping in. But definitely Armando trying to poke fun at me every day of, hey, where are we playing Super Smash Bros? On the side of everything is kind of really a fun thing to go with.
Hot me, skip me, hot me, skip me, hot me, skip me, through the boots. Mean.
Chris O'Reilly playing Charlie. And I've had class with Chris before, and this is the first time working with him too. Holy cow. Definitely when it comes to when you want to, with characters, when you have two characters that are friends, since I didn't know the guy, right away, very approachable, like open-hearted, open-minded, great guy, and working with that, trying to create the friendship on stage, clicked right away.
Me, Tyler, and Chris have this thing called trust fall, where just randomly we'll just start trust falling on each other with no warning, nothing, just go. And so one night, well, it happens quite often, where Tyler and I are behind the set, but through the windows you can still see side stage. And so one time, Tyler, we weren't even really paying attention if Chris was watching us or not, but he was on stage. And Tyler and I were just doing trust fall, and Chris completely lost it. And then he does the same thing. Tyler does the same thing to me all the time. So pretty much any time I look out that window, someone is trying to make me laugh. And it's really funny, but it's also really mean.
Chris O'Reilly. What do I say about Chris O'Reilly? He was meant for that role. He was so perfect to be playing Charlie. And again, as I said, like, you know, there are times where Owen's supposed to be so angry and so frustrated, but Chris gives this such a stupid, funny face at Owen that it's so hard not to laugh sometimes. But it has been such a pleasure and honor working with Chris, especially because he isn't necessarily a theater major per se, but he's definitely a part of our theater family, and I hope he knows that, because we all feel that way. Oh, sentimental moment.
Popping it out of the frame. Yeah. Cool.
Do that the whole time.
Are you recording this right now?
I am.
Cool. Hello. I feel like I'm having a staring contest with a Cyclops. Truthfully, I don't think I would, without Phyllis Ravel, without PR. By chance, I took a playwriting class last semester as like an elective credit, and PR was a teacher, and she was kind of the one that was she was a catalyst for me to audition. I mean, I don't want to say forced, but she pretty much, she made it clear. You know, she's like, you need to audition. So, like I said, I did it, and she told me what to read for, and in preparation for it, I had to do, there's a monologue that I have in the play, and I had to memorize that, and I had to perform that in front of her, and it was kind of cool because I didn't only have to do it in English, so then I had to perform the monologue in a made-up language that I had to make up on my own. So I don't know if you've seen, you know, this is just kind of like Andy Kaufman, comedian from, you know, 70s and 80s. He had a character on the show Taxi, Latka. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And that's kind of what I did. I did a lot of Latka, and I did, you have to pardon my voice is a little raw, but I also did Mork from Ork, right? You know, kind of I don't like to talk, I'm an alien, you know, I talk in eyeballs randomly, but I can speak English, which is weird because I'm from another planet, but I don't see how that correlates. So yeah, like I said, it was a really interesting auditioning process, and I was called back the day of and offered the part. It was almost like doing homework, but like my homework was to watch John Cleese, you know, Monty Python, Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean, and really those two, because I'm supposed to have a very British, intonation, very proper, one of the snotty upper clowns, Not that exaggerated, but, it's the Rowan Atkinson character. You kind of talk like this all the time, very, very proper, you bow to him, he doesn't bow to you, So it was really cool to do that and to, tell people like, I'm staying in tonight, I actually have to do role research. So, what do you mean? I'm watching Monty Python, so.
I just want to tell you that Charlie is just the sweetest thing in the whole wide world. Yeah! Now, what does he like for breakfast?
Katie, yeesh. Do I have to, or? No, Katie's been awesome too, and Katie was another one that I found I had a lot in common with throughout doing the show. I mean, I have a lot in common with but especially Katie and Tyler. Like one of the first, I don't remember exactly what it was, but one of them said something, it was like the Saturday Night Live, and eventually we got to where it was a Chris Farley skit where it's, I love these fries. If you love them so much, why don't you marry them? So like in between now, like sometimes in between, like in between takes, I guess, or when Todd is, giving direction to somebody, we do, I love these candles. Like I said, it's been awesome because we can kind of riff like that. And so yeah, Kate, yeah, like I said, and Katie's been awesome too. She's amazing. She's really, really talented.
Katie is probably my best friend in the show. We're both theater majors, so we do a lot of stuff together. So it's nice to have, it's good to have a good friend on stage with you, you can lean on for support and whatnot.
And Katie is just the biggest sweetheart. She just always puts other people first. Like she's always, hi honey, how are you? So I'm always like, oh my gosh, like, I'm fine. So she's just a sweet, she's like really supportive. I just go to her if I'm like stressed. She's very supportive. And look at her. I mean, she is Betty. So I just like see her and I'm like, I am just in awe of her as well as a friend. She's so supportive and loving. So.
My background in theater, I was an Irish dancer since I was a little one. And then eventually I started trying theater in high school. Well, I did a little in grade school, but I did some in high school and I kept going. And then eventually I decided that I wanted to continue it in college. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And I've found great success here. And I've been very, very fortunate for all the great opportunities that I've had. And I really hope to continue it in the future. My first production with Marquette was directed by Phyllis Ravel, and I was in A Year with Frog and Toad. And that was so much fun because it was a children's show, it was fun, it was kind of carefree, and it was great. I absolutely loved it, and I was a singing and dancing turtle, and I don't think there is any better way to start your Marquette career than to be a singing and dancing turtle, because why not, right? I had never really played a funny character ever before, and I was excited to get Betty because she's just so funny, and she's kind and hilarious at the same time, and she's a really genuine person. And she's a little bit of an older woman, and I really wanted to explore those character choices that would be needed to play Betty. And I was very excited just because of who she was and who she is and how I was going to play her. I watched movies with Southern dialects in it, and I definitely watched older women as they were walking for how they, just their body movements, how they would move. And I actually have a neighbor who, her name is Betty, and she has a Southern accent, and she's very kind, and she's very much like my character that I play in The Foreigner. So I watched her whenever I'd see her, and I tried to bring her life and how she acts to how I play Betty, because she's very kind, she's a Southern woman, and just being aware of what's around me and the Southern dialect. There's something awesome about getting that laugh from the audience, and that's, I mean, it's so amazing, and it's fun.
There's a good first lesson for you, Charlie. God helps those who help themselves.
Tyler is like my best friend in this cast. I absolutely love him. He understands me, he understands my weird humor, and we have so much fun on and off stage. Like, when we're on stage, we have a blast. We have our jokes that we do to each other, and it's just funny. And then when we have our breaks, it's hard to even explain, but we're weird. We're really weird, and we just have a blast, like movie quotes, SNL quotes, we dance, we sing, we do everything really weird, and we just have so much fun. And I just love him because he's just great.
We are both as, I don't know, awkwarded out by the first scene when I'm yelling at him that I'm pregnant. So like we both acknowledge, we're like, this is really weird, but let's just go with it. So I think that was good. I don't know, he's great.
Tyler, he is I think Owen would think he's my henchman, but I guess it's not necessarily the case. I think Tyler and I have a really different kind of chemistry with our characters than with the other ones, just because we're on the same page about most things, and I think working with him, kind of being like the evil people per se, has been a lot of fun, and we laugh all the time about stupid things. Our relationship in the show is so stupid and so funny about how like we'll be all screaming at each other one time, and then backstage we'll be laughing about it.
Oh wow, I probably started in middle school, probably around 7th grade was when we first started doing like school plays and stuff. But what attracted me to theater was when I was younger, I would just watch movies, and I loved film and the whole thing. My first role was Gabby Ways in this play, Buckshot and Blossoms is what it was called. It was a Western play, so I was this old like shopkeeper guy. I was the comic relief of the play, I guess. But it was really fun. Well, the Reverend, he's very cunning and clever, and he's kind of like an actor in the play itself. Like, you have to act while you're acting, I guess. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of fun. In high school, senior year, we did this musical about Moses and stuff, and I was the Pharaoh, so I had a little taste of being a villain, but this one's a little more complex. But it is fun to be a villain every now and then, because you can't really be like that in real life. I love our dialect coach, so she's really good to work with. It's a little hard, like some of the words you wouldn't think would say, like I have to drop a lot of my R's when I speak, which is different than how us Midwesterners speak. Off stage, we'll be like going over lines or talking probably when we shouldn't be backstage. But yeah, usually we're going over lines and stressing out before we go on, but it's okay.
Foreigner, an ex-stamp, a nice old lady, and a wealthy bricklaying English teacher. I don't see how we could lose.
Lola, as the stunning Lola, of course. Very great to work with again. Very quick on the draw with anything that comes to lines. Again, and very hardworking as well.
Lolita, she's really fun to mess with on stage. Owen likes to pick fun and be really gross and kind of creepy on her, and she's such a Southern belle, and she's doing a fantastic job. And I think her chemistry with Tyler is phenomenal. I think they're really good with each other, and it's kind of nice that Owen sometimes kind of separates them and picks fun, as well as Charlie. I think she establishes such a special relationship with Chris or Charlie, and they're doing a really good job with that too.
And Lola, she's a sweetheart too. I met her back in January, and I hadn't really seen her in much except for like her acting 2 performance, and that's why like I was so excited, because we share the fact that it's our first main stage, and I guess Chris too, but we share that together, so it's kind of a journey together. Like, how are you doing? Yeah, do you want to run lines? And she's very sweet and caring too. And Catherine, it's funny just because she's my older sister, so we've developed that and we've talked about that off the set too. So,
well, I've been performing on stage and singing since I was 4. And then naturally that moved into acting, and I don't know what else you want. I worked on stage in my senior year of high school, I started, instead of going to school full-time, I had an internship with a professional theater downtown, which I'd work with because I started working in professional theater in Portland, Oregon, where I'm from, when I was 15, which is really great. Getting paid to do what you love is awesome. But one of the companies that I worked with hired me to do an internship for my senior year of high school, which was awesome to get out of high school. Like, not have to go to that and do something I loved instead. And yeah, and then I've been at Marquette. This is my first main stage at Marquette. And that's pretty much it. I've done singing, acting, backstage work, everything on stage and backstage. I was in Open Pantry, and I got a text message with a picture of the cast list from Alex, and he's like, "Congrats," and I started screaming. And I called everyone I knew, and no one was picking up, so I was just screaming like a crazy person by myself. I watched a lot of Southern comedies, really silly comedy, slapstick, fast-paced humor. Obviously I've read the show a million times. I still read it every day. It's never different. It's always the same.
Take a good look at us, Charlie boy, because we're going to take care of you for a while. Yes, ma'am. We're going to take Charlie off your hands.
I've worked with Armando in the past with the Comedy of Errors last year. Funny guy, very always singing, trying to portray Miranda sings, and it's not too uncommon to hear him go, "Ah, twinkle, twinkle, little star."
So, it's Miranda for you, so you're welcome.
And trying to teach you the ways of Miranda, which you can always learn something from her.
Armando is another character. He's very funny. I am with him a lot on stage, so it's interesting. He's just funny and just does weird things all the time, and it's kind of like his character, so it's good.
What to say about Armando? He is one of my best friends here. He is amazing and fantastic, and I don't know what I'd do without him. He really is so sweet, and he's, I mean, in the sheer fact that I'm really struggling in my math class right now, because I don't get math. I haven't done math in 2.5 years. That's how long it's been since I've taken a math class, and Armando is a math genius, and his plate is just as full as mine is when it comes to schoolwork, and he's literally just like, just let me know when you need help, and I will help you.
I was like, oh, I'm playing an evil guy again, huh? Alright, I can do this. And so, I was really excited. The people I'm working with are so phenomenal, and I know that it was going to be a really fun cast that was going to turn up, so it's good to a point that, you know, it's kind of like you get to do whatever you want in some way. It's like, you know, like, I mean, obviously that humans can do, but you kind of just get to play around and just be evil. And I think, I mean, even though we as ourselves don't like necessarily being an evil person, but I mean, getting to play that kind of sinister, evil kind of person is a nice change, I guess you could say. There are parts in the play that signifies to snort, but I think I kind of add a little bit more just because it's obnoxious and just so loud and ugly. And I think it kind of colors Owen's like emotions in different, like, kind of snort kind of determines what kind of mood he's in. It could be like a happy snort or like a laugh or like a real obnoxious in your face, so it's like real gross. And hey, it's part of the theater. Gotta be ugly and gross sometimes. I don't know, we usually go off stage and go, wow, remember when I screwed up that entire scene? And then we laugh and joke about it. But I think, I mean, we have so much fun. I mean, it's kind of bad, and we shouldn't be doing this, but when we're off stage and people are on stage and they either like looking out the window or the door, we kind of make faces at them and try to make them break character. Not a very mature thing to do, but I think it's fun. And no one's been able to make me laugh. I almost got Katie Callahan. You just wait. We're doing it every day, so. And, yeah, and then we kind of just wait for our cues and kind of look over our scripts and just whisper. I try to whisper. I'm not a very good whisperer. But yeah, that's kind of what we do.
That's my favorite name. If I ever catch me that chipmunk, well, that's what he's gonna be. Buddy the Chipmunk.
Little tidbit that he probably, I don't know that he'll tell you this, he probably won't, but during auditions, after he did his Ellard little monologue, his little piece for Ellard, PR goes, Are you a refugee? And Jake was like, no, I live here legally. I'm not, I don't. She's like, no, like the improv group. Jake's like, oh, me? No. And eventually, you know, eventually we're like, Jake, you know, but you're so good at improv. He's like, you guys shut up. You guys, no. So like I said, Jake's been so awesome. He's been so great to work with. And there would be nobody else who I'd rather do a table improvised scene, completely silent, with only kitchen utensils, and ending it with a cup on top of my head like this. And nobody else. Well, except for celebrities. But besides the point. Besides the point.
Jake, oh my god, he's the sweetest kid ever. Jake will make you feel so much better about your day when rehearsal comes around at 6 o'clock. You know, you're tired, you had a rough day. No. Jake makes you feel so much better about yourself. He's like, honey, you'll be fine. And he just makes you feel so good, and I love him. And he just brings a smile to my face.
Jake, this is his first role, so it's fun for him. He's very excited and kind of dramatic, but it's okay.
I started that love in grade school, and then all through high school, I was, you know, we did 2 shows a year, and I was a theater person in high school. I did theater and choir, just like I do here. So when I came, I knew I wanted to be a teacher, and I'm in education and theater. So, you know, I joined here. I was a little late because I was like, oh, do I want to declare the major? And I was like, yeah, I want to do this. I want to do education and theater. And yeah, my background in high school really brought me here, but I'm still learning so much, having a new director for a change, because we had the same one all high school. And now it's very interesting to learn and be in that a little bit step up. You know, step up what's expected, the, you know, professionalism about it. You know, there's no messing around. And that kind of, my background experience kind of helps me compare it to this. Well, this was my first main stage audition. And I was like, well, what character could I see myself as? And automatically, Ellard came. He was a little bit younger, and I was like, I could see myself kind of, you know, I look at the age range, and, you know, I look at how I look, how my voice intonation, and obviously I don't talk like I'm talking now, but I wanted to challenge myself. I've never, I mean, you know, when you see it, I'm certainly not like that in real life. I mean, it's very different, which is why it's so fun, and it's why it's, you know, such a great acting challenge. But I think that's why, like, it was just such a challenge, and I just wanted to develop these idiosyncrasies. I wanted to have this character that was a character. There was nothing of myself in it except for me bringing what I have to it. I mean, obviously, you know, it starts with myself, but then what can I develop and really evolve? And that's why I saw that as such an opportunity. So, and he's just hilarious. He's just infectious. So that's why. So I picked Ellard. I was like, I really want to try this. I really want to develop this character. And so I just, you know, I was in my dorm, and I had to go to a place, and I had to practice this monologue at the table. And they suggested that we memorize. So I was like, okay, I can do this. So I started to think of some idiosyncrasies, you know, what can I do with my hands? Can I, you know, do something with my, how can I make this character developed even though I'm just auditioning?
I'm very delighted. We just had our final tech dress, and it went really, I'm really pleased with how it went. As you go through tech, you do all the work, and then you go and you add lights and sound and costumes, and there's a couple of days where the show's not really about you anymore, and it's about all these technical elements, and then you got to take the show back as an actor and as a director. This was my last chance to give my final thoughts to them, and so I feel real good. With a comedy as well, you always get to the point of, we really need an audience, because you get to that, you make yourself laugh, and then your jokes aren't funny anymore, and you really need it's the final character of the play, and there's going to be many final characters filling this theater, I hope, and I'm just so excited that they get that final character added tomorrow, that they get the energy from the audience, and that they get to feed off of that, and the audience gets to feed off of them. So I'm thrilled. I can't wait to see how they respond and how an audience responds to the show. It's wonderful because it's a comedy, and there are some times where you're going to find that they laugh at things you didn't plan that they laughed at, and then there are other things like, I thought they'd laugh at that. And so it's a learning curve. And so you add that, and it's a terrifying learning curve because you don't get any rehearsals with the audience. They just show up. But I'm just excited for the energy that will bring.
Ah, a real